this is the synagogue, another synagogue for the Jews in Cochin, but outside there's a shop. A man called Babu, who's a Cochini Jew, has a shop outside. ये काहे का दुकान है इधर बाहर? काहे का दुकान है? दुकान काहे का है ये? बाबू नहीं कौन सा दुकान है ये? फिश का। लेकिन बाबू जूइश है, वो नहीं है यहाँ पे ना? नहीं है यहाँ पे? अभी आएंगे ना? अच्छा।
हेलो।
This is a storeroom over here, and the floor. This is the synagogue. It used to be a synagogue, not anymore. Oh, careful of the. Just used to be where the teba used to be. Everything is fallen apart. But this used to be the synagogue, Ekhal.
My name is Samson Solomon Korlekar. I come from a traditionally religious Bene Israel family of Bombay. I got more interested in religion, so I decided to publish some books, the prayer books, wherein on one side the transliteration is there and the other side translation. That means pronunciation and meaning, so that in Marathi, in vernacular, so that people would be able to read the prayers and also understand it.
We were known, our Bene Israels, in the parliament, in the Knesset. They said we did not know that the Bene Israels in India. Because they are surprised, because we are a microscopic community, a drop in the ocean. We are a drop in the ocean. And that is where we are safe. Nobody will touch us. And we are isolated, we are living among the Christians and the Parsis and Jews. We have never treated them badly, or not other community treated us badly. Because we are isolated. आपण या कोणासाठी भांडण केलं नाही हरकत नाही.
That's how he got the job there.
Got the job where?
In India.
But you came from where now?
I came from Burma.
How many Bene Israel families were there?
At that time, there were about 6 Bene Israel families.
6 Bene Israel families?
Yes.
So your great-grandmother was here already?
She was here, living here.
And then you got integrated into the Jewish life here very easily?
Yes, very much.
But did your parents practice Judaism in Burma?
Yes, we all practiced Jewish religion.
तुम्ही किती वेळ राहते?
किती वर्ष राहता?
किती वर्ष राहतात?
मी बरेच वर्ष, माझा जन्मच इकडं आणि 1962 सालापासून मी इकडेच आहे, वडिलांकडेच.
हो. आणि तुम्ही पहिले इथे काम करत होता? काय करत होता?
हा, मी शिशु वर्गाला शिकवत होते.
कुठे?
लहान मुला.
हो.
30 वर्ष सर्व्हिस केली मी.
हो का?
हा.
कुठे? शाळेत?
हा.
Hi, I'm Daniel David Talegaonkar. I grew up in Chembur. My father was working for Richardson and Kudas And as a child, I used to go to the Maganasati Seneco with my father and my parents and my family. But since it's very far, now it's become very difficult for me to reach there. But as a Jewish, I do follow Shabbat, and I am an artist by profession.
हे शेंबीज बर्फा यायचं पुरवतं आणि ही मीच बराफानंतर
मिश
जमातेला
कधी
नंतर झाल्यानंतर
हो का
As a lawyer, I came into contact with various peoples, and I found that there was a lot of Jewish institutions at that time which were not catered to properly. They had huge properties, Jewish schools were not catered to at all, and the properties were not made use by the Jews. So this is one institution, the school, where I came across. I got married here in this my marriage reception was here in the school grounds. And that is the time I felt that I should do something for the school, which will in fact help the Jewish community at large.
Can you tell me a little bit about what Jewish festival you like, Siona?
I like New Year and Hanukkah
Why?
because it's very nice and I enjoy it.
How do you enjoy it? Do you like the ritual? Do you like the food? What do you like?
I like the rituals also.
And Purim also, say?
I like even Purim.
You like Purim?
Yeah, I help my mummy.
इथे मी सर्व काम करतो. डे अँड नाईट इथेच राहायला आहे. गेस्ट लोकांचं जे आहे ते काम मी करतो. लॉन्ड्रीला जा, त्यांना नाश्ता दे, ब्रेकफास्ट द्यायचं त्यांना टॅक्सी आणून द्यायची, सर्व काम करून मी त्यांना. गेस्ट बी चांगले येतात. ज्युइश ओनली फॉर ज्युइश. अमेरिकन येतात, इस्रायलची माणसं येतात.
This was the onset or the beginning stages of the JRU's Rodef Shalom project, which was being initiated by Rabbi Hugo Green, who of course no more now. And at that time,
he did my naming ceremony.
Such a small one, for sure. And he had Sunday school. He had several of the Friday programs and Sunday school programs. Restarted with the help of his wife Jackie. And at that stage, I remember being one of the first few people to do a bar mitzvah in the JR.
מיכאל שר ישראל, אליהו וגבריאל, בשרו נא הגאולה, בשד הנילה, אל נורא לילה, אל נורא לילה, המסילה נומהילה, בשד הנילה.
husband, Moses Ezekiel Pugavkar, he was working in a fire brigade, and on 26/11, when the terrorists attacked the Taj Oberoi and the Khabat house, he was in the Taj and Oberoi.
Doing what?
For the operating of the cars and rescuing all the people from the Taj.
So he's a fire brigade?
Plus operator he was.
He works for the fire brigade?
Yeah.
In Mumbai?
In Mumbai.
So he's a firefighter?
Yeah.
In 1970, I started school because, of course, it was in my compound with a shade on top, thinking that it will pick up. But then for 6 months, there was nothing absolutely, but I didn't lose hope. I said no, I was determined that it has to take off by June. And fortunately, a parent happened to come and he inquired about my school, and he liked the atmosphere and everything. He said, in June I'm getting my child. And he, along with his own son, he brought about almost 25 children. That's how the school started. And slowly it grew up with the nursery, and then it was into prep, the next class, then junior, senior, and first. That's how I started for a couple of years.
I've lived in India all my life. My mother, Marjorie Rubin, originally Marjorie Ezra, is Baghdadi Jewish. She was brought up in Calcutta and came to Bombay when she was 10 years old. My father is Bene Israel Jew. He and his family grew up in Pune, which is a small city outside of Bombay, and met my mom when my mom was in JJ Art School, and they got married and settled in Bombay. My grandmother, Rose Ezra, she actually divorced her husband when the two girls were 10 years old, and she was always interested in dance and performance, and she came to Bombay and didn't know how to bring up these two children. And she got into the movie business, which was then largely Parsi and Jewish, because the Hindu girls of the time and the Muslim girls of the time were not allowed to perform, either on stage or in film. And the film industry in Bombay in the 20s and the 30s was booming. My mom was more Jewish than my dad. My father was not inclined. He'd never really had that background. So he was very happy to sort of just be nothing at all, really. My mom was very keen that we girls get a sense of what being Jewish is. So we did the Passover, and we did, the basic big festival days, and we kept Kippur, went to synagogue. So I just got a vague sense of what it was. But I lived in India. My friends were mostly Hindu, Muslim, Christian. My being Jewish was absolutely of no interest to anybody at all. So in essence, I was more them than I was me. So my Jewishness is very restrained to my home and to a little bit of the community. When I was much younger, I had a lot of family, extended family, and there'd be, Shabbat, and there'd be big evenings where everybody came, and there were many Rachels, there were many Rebeccas, there were many Enochs, all in the same room, seemingly 6 names, and repeated generation over generation. But then they all immigrated when I was maybe young, in the 60s, 70s, and slowly, Shabbat didn't happen so much, once in a while. So really there was a kind of petering out of the Jewish big days or big feasts or big holidays. My dad's family, like I said, they held themselves very proud as being Jewish, but they didn't practice. So really, I knew a Christmas more than I knew a Hanukkah. And when I was done with my graduation in college, they decided that's it, we're leaving Bombay, and they moved to Pune. So there were two synagogues. One was the Rastas-Pet synagogue and one was the Ohio David synagogue. And my dad and mom became a member of the Red synagogue. And when my mom died, there was then the need for the 10 men, the quorum, to make the ceremony, the funeral. So we managed to get a few people and people from the synagogue, some friends all together, and they did it.
5 म्हणजे 4 वाजल्यापासून 5 वाजल्यापासून सुरुवात केली ना तर दुसऱ्या दिवशी 4 वाजता रोजा सोडायचा परत 1 तास खाय 1 तास खाय.
She had done this fast according to an Iraqi doctor, Iraqi Jewish doctor, and he was a Kabbalah. So
he practiced Kabbalah.
Yeah, he used to know if a person.
तुम्हाला आठवण असेल साले डॉक्टर
मला आठवते.
Father's name and son was Minas Silas. His father was a Kabbalah, and then he used to go over there and he used to come to know that what problem you have even before you tell what problem.
Oh yeah.
Hi, this is Abner Pastekar, and I'm from Mumbai, and I'm studied in Mumbai and born and brought up in Mumbai. I belong to the Ben Israel family, and I lived in the Jewish surrounding with Jews all around me and Orthodox Jews all around me, and I had a Jewish background, and I had a very good synagogue called the Magen Hasidim very close to my house, where I studied Hebrew when I was very young. I was about 8 to 10 years old, and I was sent to the synagogue to learn Hebrew. Whether I like it or don't like it, it was compulsory. And then we have to read Hebrew in the synagogue to see that we have learned properly or not. So every Saturday early in the morning at 5:30 we used to be in the synagogue to read Hebrew. We used to go on the Teba and read Hebrew. That's how we used to celebrate all our festivals like the Kippur, the Rosh Hashanah, Pesach, that's Passover, Hanukkah, and all festivals used to be celebrated in our building.
And your father is a singer?
Yeah, and my father, who is a vivid reader of Hebrew, who has studied Hebrew in school and who knows Hebrew very well, and he is a cantor, he reads Hebrew in the synagogue, and he's a very good singer, and he sings all the songs. He composes his own Hebrew songs, Hebrew religious songs, and sings it in the synagogue. And so we have to follow the tradition, and we also have to learn Hebrew when we were young, and we also have to sing in the synagogue, and we also have to go on the Teba, bid our things and sing and read the Torah.
या समाजाला जे काय करता येईल ते आम्ही करण्याचा प्रयत्न करतो. या समाजानं या भारतामध्ये एकत्र राहणं हीच आमची सर्वांची शक्ती आहे, आणि म्हणून त्या लोकांना सर्वांना एकत्र करणं हे आमच्या परीने आम्ही काम करतो. काम करत असताना काही चुका होतात, सर्वच काम आपल्या मनाप्रमाणे होतं असं होत नाही. गुलशन तो नहीं बना सकते हम, गुलशन तो नहीं बना सकते जहाँ को कुछ काटे जरूर कम करेंगे जिस रास्ते से गुजरेंगे हम. या समाजाचं काम करत असताना थोड्याफार चुका होतात, म्हणून सर्वच काय आम्ही त्याला गुलशन बनवू शकत नाही, त्याला सौंदर्य करू शकत नाही. काही गोष्टी राहून पण जातील, पण निश्चितपणे समाज चांगला करण्याचा, समाजाला मार्गदर्शन चांगलं करण्याचं, समाजाला काहीतरी घेण्यासारखं असेल.
Hollywood is full of Jewish people, okay? And I was thinking, what is it, or how can I contribute to, or how can I establish my Jewish identity in a country which is non-Jewish, okay? This was an opportunity, this was a platform. I'm the first Jewish girl in India to complete my Arangetram. You need to maintain this. Okay, this is my way of establishing my Jewish identity. Okay, in a way blending the Indian art and culture, which is so highly respected across the world.
So you maintain your Jewishness, yet at the same time you celebrate your Indianness.
You're celebrating Indianness and you're extremely proud of this duality. You are Jewish and you're Indian. And you need to be proud of this because India, I think we owe a lot to the country.
Hello, I'm Ralphie Ezekiel Chirad, born in the Bene Israel Jewish community of India, published books on topics such as the Jews of India, the Bene Israel community, the Jews of Pakistan, and the Baghdadi Jewish community as well. I believe that my community has a very unique position in the Jewish world because it has heritage from the Jewish background and it has adapted cultural and interesting traditions from the Indian heritage. This particular beautiful blend that has been practiced over the centuries by the Indian Jewish community needs to be preserved, and that is my mission for life, to make a museum of Bene Israel heritage, to preserve the heritage of the Indian Jews and to display it for those who can then experience and understand what has been the uniqueness of my community.
Tell me something about your, what do you remember from your Jewish childhood or anything like that?
Jewish childhood, prayers are very important. That was the first thing. Like, first thing I history about Jewish childhood, like prayers are very important. You have to do your prayers at proper time, everything has to be done properly. Your Friday prayers have to be done properly. When you sleep, you have to do your prayers properly, all those things. When you go for prayers during the festival, you have to attend all your prayers.
My name is Leena Solomon Karkera, and I'm born over here in Bombay. I go to the synagogue, I am a Jew lady. I go to Knesset for Kiddush, and I go for Shabbat morning prayers.
Your two sons are in Israel?
And two sons are in Israel, they are in Eilat. I visit them every year. They have not lost their Indianness, Jewishness, what was here in India. They try to observe the same in Israel.
And then I was going through a big cross-cultural conflict between being Jewish, trying to keep my Jewish identity, having a name like Esther, which hardly anybody, in Gujarat it's very difficult for people to pronounce it properly. So sometimes I say, oh, I'm Asha Ben, I'm Asta Ben, whatever. And I pass off as that. And I think this, the bindi that I do that's my way of being part of India, and I keep my spirit Jewish. I try to, because I'm very interested in my heritage, and I think it's historically very important to have got this wide a Jewish identity which can be connected with the diaspora all over the world.
I am the first Bene Israel, Indian Jew Bene Israel, to meet Rabbi Shalita, Rabbi Schneerson of Chabad. I met him in 1975, and that's the reason I got a scholarship after that to study there. I studied in 770 Eastern Parkway in New York, in Brooklyn. I never gave up my Indian Jewishness, Indian citizenship. Till today I am an Indian citizen. Two things I did not give up: my Indian culture, Indian Jewishness, as well as Indian passport. These two things are with me till today.
I have a very interesting role. At one time I am Indian, but I also have a very strong Jewish heart, which I'm able to keep in my house, with my family, with my children. And I'm proud of blending both these roles.
किती लोक येतात मशिदीमध्ये रोशेशानाला?
रोशेशानाला जवळजवळ 40-50 लोक असतात. 10 माणसं तर जमतात.
फ्रायडेला?
नाही
काय तुम्ही बोलला?
एवढा लांबून नको.
एवढा लांबू नका. थोडंसं बोला तुम्ही.
फ्रायडेला 10-12 माणसं.
फ्रायडेला 12 ते 15 माणसं असतात.
15-20 माणसं होतात, पुरुष माणसं.
आणि
being an Indian and a Jew, for sure there's no conflict between these two. Because in India, of course we are an Indian, being an ancient Jewish community settled in India, it's enough, roughly 2000 years, to make you Indian. Apart from that, Judaism is something which is very personal. It's in your home. You don't have any issues where you have to bring your Indianness and Jewishness to collide with each other. As per the Jewish history in India, Jews have always evoked respect and a feeling of goodness among the other communities.
I'm Ruby Benjamin. I'm come from Pakistan in 1947.
Yes.
We were very happy there before partition. We had made big bungalows and all that, and we are born, bred up, taught everything in Pakistan.
So there were many Jews there?
Yeah, I did my SSC there only, 12th, 10th standard and all that. After partition, that year only we came back. And I got married in Pune. When her daddy was the president of the synagogue, Rastapet.
Yeah, my mom's dad, right?
وهي بيوم شمني كرام شيء نهارون بناو والجكني إسرائيل ويوم الهارون كاليخا.
In fact, in India, that is the only place in the world where Jews are treated on parity with any other religion or community, and you've never had any kind of anti-Semitism feelings towards the Jewish population in India. And so much so that we being such a minuscule minority, we are less than 5,000 Jews in India. So when I interact with a non-Jewish person in India and he or she comes to know that I'm a Jewish person, there's full of enthusiasm, excitement, queries to know what exactly is a Jewish person, what exactly is a Jewish religion, how do you pray, who do you pray to, what is our manner of worship, and all that is so nice that people are interested in to know what is a Jewish person, how does he or she keep his religion going in a place like India where you have so many different religions going. And that's exactly what I feel. I keep my Jewish identity in spite of me being in an Indian environment.
We all started, my brother started it, messaging Shabbat Shalom to all the Jewish community which we have on our cell phone. So now I have some around about 35-40 in my phone list, which I ensure that every Friday evening I SMS them Shabbat Shalom. So I've been almost 1.5 years, we sincerely, religiously message Shabbat Shalom to all the community. Like if I have 35 people in my phone book, my brother has another 30-40, so we exchanged and we do so. So I think that's what we all are enjoying about for the Shabbat evening.
1,000 इस्रायलला गेले घाणी टाकून. घाणीची कार होती, रेझोंडाला होती 2-4, चौलला होती, आंबेपूरला होती, वडोला होती, थळला होती, अलिबागला होती, पण इस्रायलला गेले घाणी. तर माझी घाणी आहे. आता ते करंजबी असतं, करंजबी कडू तेल पाडतो म्हणजे ऑइल. आता सकाळपासून खोबरा आणि शेंगदाणा सकाळपासून तोच चालला होता, तर कंटाळला जाम.
So I want to tell you about how I came to religion, how it is that I'm sitting here in a synagogue with a scarf on my head, because when I was 15, this was not the life I planned for myself. So I used to feel very anti-religion, and I used to hate having to do rituals without understanding, why they're being done, and there was no one to give me any answers for anything. So I had very much decided, that I'm going to be non-denominational, and just follow the religion of humanity and not Judaism. And I'd even pointedly told my parents that I was going to marry someone non-Jewish, like just to show them that I'm not going to like listen to everything you tell me and you're not going to decide my life for me. So I guess it was a combination of like feeling frustrated that you didn't know why you were doing what you were supposed to do, and of course like the adolescence phase of like being rebellious and like striking out on your own. And so in that process, like going against everything your parents stand for, trying to find your own identity. So all of that culminated in my rebellion against religion. But then I happened to go to a youth camp that was organized by the JDC, and this was right after I'd given my 10th standard exam. So my parents decided I needed a break, because I'd been studying hard for the whole year. So they sent me off in this camp. And I was like, whatever. There used to be prayers there 3 times a day, but they told me that they don't force you to the prayers. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll just go and have some fun. So at that camp, I very well remember, there were these American volunteers. There was a rabbi and his wife, and then there was a young guy who was volunteering for the JDC that year. And it was Friday night, and all the girls had lit candles, and they were in the center of the room. We were staying at a resort, and there was they had a conference room. So the whole room was filled with light. And then the rabbi started humming a nigun, and everyone joined in. And we made a circle, and we stood around, the table with the candles on it. And everyone was humming the nigun. And then suddenly, we started dancing and singing Jewish songs. And it felt so beautiful. My spirit felt so uplifted. It was such a magical experience. That was, I think, the turning point that made me feel that I want to find out more about religion. I mean, if I'm going to abandon it, then I should first know what I'm abandoning before I abandon it.
सोड सोडा ब्राह्मा मारू नको इसहाका तू इसहाका जाळीमध्ये गुंतीला मागे पहायड का हो जाळीमध्ये गुंतीला मागे पहायड का हाक दिली देवाने तया दे पुत्र तुझा बलिदान मला हाक दिली देवाने तया दे पुत्र तुझा बलिदान मला इसहाक घेऊनी सामोर्याला इसहाक घेऊनी सामोर्याला जरी असे बहुत लाडका हो लाडका जाळीमध्ये गुंतीला मागे पहायडका.
This Gandhi thing has got something to do with my grandfather, who was Dr. Joseph Benjamin of Ahmedabad, who was a healer and a doctor and a member of the Congress party that Gandhi belonged to. And as I said, there were 5 people in the Congress party those days. I'm talking about the early 40s, 50s. One of them was Dr. Joseph Benjamin. My grandfather was actually a doctor and a consultant to Gandhi, and Gandhi came very often to my grandfather to be healed. You see, so he was actually a healer for Gandhi.
What, like a regular doctor or like a spiritual healer?
He was a spiritual healer.
Oh,
A spiritual healer.
Well, just to go back a little, in the 50s, when Israel got independence, many of our Ben Israel went to Israel, but they weren't very happy. And the reason they weren't happy was that we were all white-collar people. We preferred to be accountants or lawyers, clerks, but not use our hands. So they really weren't happy in Israel. Language, food, climate, all added to it. So the picture there is of Mr. Gerhard Gable. He was a German Jew in India who had gone to Israel for a holiday, and he met Indian Jews who were wanting to come back.
so what's his name again?
Gerhard Gabriel.
I see.
So he was a German Jew, settled here. In fact, he ran a company called Bombay Metals. He was the owner of the company. Pretty big company. A lot of Jews were employed there. Later on, closed down because of Union trouble.
Right.
And went back. Good.
Right.
So he found people coming back, and he analyzed that the reason that they were people, they had left from here, Holy Land, returned to the Holy Land and all that kind of dreams, but then they were unhappy wanting to come back. And the reason the people were unhappy was they didn't have jobs. So he wrote to the Ort's office, and the head office was then in Geneva, got their help, got funds, and created Ort in India.
Sophia, עוד לא עבדה תקוותנו, התקווה שנות 2000, להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון ירושלים.
Though we being a Jewish community of 5,000 all over India, we are not considered as a minority, either as the central government or as the state government. We have put in a lot of letters, but nobody is taking it because we are just a small little vote bank. If our vote bank was big, if our voice was big, definitely they would have taken it up. But definitely with this thing in mind, having a minority status for a community in India is very much wanting, and we are working in that direction, and we hope and pray that God bless we get that status, and our children who go into professional studies, who go into professional careers will be able to get the benefits what a minority community student gets.
So it was a very schizophrenic life for me. I had no idea who I was, where I belonged, to which strata of society. And by the time I married, it complicated it further. I think I pretty much almost ran away from my past marrying. My husband was Hindu. And when I went to Israel for the first time and I got down from the hotel and walked the neighborhood around, and I had a real sense of, I know this, I recognize this, I recognize this. It's almost like a mindscape that I'd lived, and that impacted me so strongly that I wanted to leave. I wanted to leave my home, my marriage, my children, and just go.
To Israel.
To Israel.
ולמתם אותם, את פניך לדפק בם, בשבתך בביתך ולדיך בדרך, ושוק בך ובקומך.
My greatest achievement was during the 1971 operations for the liberation of Bangladesh. I planned that campaign and I controlled the operations right until we reached Dhaka. I was asked to go and get a surrender. A ceasefire had been sent to General Niazi, by General Niazi, to Bhutto. Bhutto rejected it outright, and that night in the United Nations, he tore up the resolution and stormed out, saying that he would never surrender. He had rejected the ceasefire also, and therefore, on the morning of 16th December, I was asked by General Manekshaw to go and get a surrender. I had already sent him a draft surrender document. I asked him, should I negotiate on that? He said, you know what to do, just go.
והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה ותפארה והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו להעבירה, והוא ראשון והוא אחרון לכל הומר ולכל שורה, בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוד והמשרה, בלי הרג בלי דמיון בלי שינוי ותמורה, בלי בור בלי פירוט גדול כוח וגבורה, והוא אלי והגואלי וסורב לי ביום שרה, והוא ניסי ומנוסי ונתקוסי ביום אקרא, והוא רופא והוא מרפא והוא סופא והוא עזרא, בידו אף קידוהי ולא ישם והעירה, ואמרוי גבייתי אדוני לי ולא ירא, במקדשו תגל נפשי משיחנו יסלם מרע, ועד נשיר בבית קודשי אמן אמן שם הנורא.
This is the synagogue, another synagogue for the Jews in Cochin, but outside there's a shop. A man called Babu, who's a Cochini Jew, has a shop outside. ये काहे का दुकान है इधर बाहर? काहे का दुकान है? दुकान काहे का है ये?
बाबू बाबू
नहीं कौन सा दुकान है ये? फिश का। अच्छा। लेकिन बाबू जूइश है, वो नहीं है यहाँ पे ना? नहीं है यहाँ पे? अभी आएंगे ना? अच्छा अच्छा।
हेलो।
This is a storeroom over here, and on the floor. This is the synagogue. Used to be a synagogue, not anymore. Oh, careful of the. Just used to be where the teba used to be. Everything is fallen apart. But this used to be the synagogue, Ekhal.
My name is Samson Solomon Korlekar. I come from a traditionally religious Bene Israel family of Bombay. I got more interested in religion, so I